My name is Rebecca Edler, and I am the Sustainability Coordinator at the Sustainable Development Institute at the College of Menominee Nation. Today, I'm going to show you an upcycling project. This project that we have is we are weaving mats out of recyclable plastic bags. First, I'm going to show you how to construct the frame. This is what your frame will look like when you're finished. The items needed to put your frame together consist of 2 boards that are 28 inches by 2 inches. We have chosen cedar, however, you can also use a pine. I would recommend not using a hardwood. You will also need 2 boards that are 20 inches by 2 inches. You will also need to cut a 4x4 square and then cut it diagonally. These will be used to secure your corners. I recommend having a square, a tape measure, a pencil to do your markings, and also some glue. The glue is not required, but I would recommend using it. You will also need screws. The screws that we selected are 2-inch drywall screws. And then, of course, you'll need your tools to do the assembly. We have a screwdriver that we use to pre-drill the holes, and then another one to set the screws. The next step will be to assemble your frame. Now we're going to start to assemble the frame. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your ruler, select the board, put your ruler on your board, measure it out, and then take your pencil, going along your board, you start marking your measurements. The first one you mark at 1/2 inch, and after that, you mark every one at 1 inch. Once you've marked your board with a pencil, you take your drill and you pre-drill your holes in the center of the board, going about 1 inch deep. And you continue that through the entire board. And after your first board is done, you do the same thing to your next 3 boards. So when you're finished, you should have your 2 long boards and your 2 short boards, and they will all be pre-drilled. Once you've got that done, you can lay out your frame. You lay your 2 long boards, and then your 2 short boards, which will be on the end. The short boards have to be on the outside. So when constructing your frame, your outside dimensions will then be a 30 by 20 frame. So the next step will be to set the corners. So what you want to do is you want to grab your square and set your boards where they need to be, and then using your square, line them up. Once you have them lined up, you take your drill, hold your corners, and drill into the boards at a diagonal so that it's going down. You don't want to go up because otherwise the screw would hit your other screws that you're going to be screwing in. So once this corner is done, you line up your second corner using your square. And again, you do the same thing over. Once those are set, you can start to assemble it using your screws. So you place your screw into the board as far as you can. Then you take your screw gun, holding it firmly, screw it in. one screw in, we would do that again to all four corners. So you can see from this frame how it looks. So now what I'll be doing is I would be putting in the next two. Now that I have secured all of the corners, the next step is to put on our little pieces that will hold it in place. So what you want to do is to take your piece, line it up, and then take your gun and pre-drill your holes. Once that's complete, you take your screws and place them in the holes. Using your other gun, hold it and tighten it down. You do that again until it's in place. Now the corners are secured. You notice all four corners are completed. What you want to do then is you want to flip it over completely and set it back on the counter. So now you have your pre-marked holes throughout the frame. You can pick up your screws and start drilling them in. You drill them in about a 1/2 inch, like this. And you'll do that until the entire frame has the screws in place. When all the screws are in place, it will look like this. Your frame is now complete. What I'm going to show you now is how to make a mat similar to this one out of recycled plastic bags. The items that you'll need to do this are, of course, your plastic bags, and it can be a plastic bag similar to this, or it can either be large bags like this. So you'll need your plastic bags, you'll need a scissors, and I made this ruler out of cardboard so that I could measure my cuts of my plastic. This is a very simple technique on how to make this mat. So what you'll do is you'll start by taking your plastic bag. I lay mine out on the table. The first thing I do is I use my scissors to cut off the very bottom of the bag. Once this is cut off, you can either open your bag or simply place your folded bag on top of your measuring device. So I lay mine on top and I make a cut and then simply cut through the bag. It doesn't have to be exact. You just have to get a piece so it's approximately this size. My dimensions are 5 inches. So once you cut your plastic, you can make another cut. Generally out of a small bag, you can get 2 cuts. Larger bags, of course, you would get more. Once I cut my pieces, I separate them into colors. Because if you want to make a pattern into your lead mat, you will be able to do that. For this purpose, I have gray, and I have a light yellow, and I also have a white. So as you can see, I pre-cut all of my plastic. Once you have your plastic cut, you can then start to weave. So using your board that we previously made, you can simply start by winding an end onto your board. If you can see, I have a small nail here where I used to start my weaving. I simply wrap it around that nail and then start to weave. Many of you have done this as children or using an art project making hot pads. You simply start and you go weave around and you keep going back and forth. Now some people put these plastic pieces together before they start, and how you do that is you simply take a piece of plastic and you take another piece of plastic and you pull it through and connect them. It's that simple. Some people, on the other hand, they will add their plastic as they're working, which is a little, for me, it's a little more tedious, but it works as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to weave this together. I'm going to weave it all this way first, and then you just continue on and you weave it back and forth this way until you've completely weaved the entire plastic full. And then once you've done that, you simply remove your plastic from your nails. You'll be able to just slip them off and you'll have your mat.